Some may make a case for it, while others wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. If you are in the first group, then chances are you have not realized what diet sodas may be doing to your body. Today we are exploring some of the most life-threatening things about drinking diet soda and why you should take the big step to abstain from it. This list covers everything from pretty popular to questionable to worst-case scenarios that will leave you in shivers. Before we jump in, it is worth noting that there is a prevalent lack of closure in almost all the research related to the effects of diet soda. Hard to tell if these conclusions are actually difficult to come to, or if some powers that be are trying to keep it inconclusive, especially considering the growing number of connections being made by scientists. Well, whatever the case, here are 8 reasons you should kick diet soda out of your diet. Let's start off with an issue that is a worldwide problem at number 8. Excessive weight gain and obesity. The main bone of contention when it comes to weight gain and diet sodas is that because they do not carry any calories, they would help consumers lose weight. Sadly, several studies prove that it may be just the exact opposite. There are 2 possible explanations as to why this is the case, and both are very practical. The first is the scientific explanation. While these glorious sugar replacements are advertised to be the perfect calorie-free sweets, they are designed to convince the body that you have consumed sugar. Now, here is the not-so-fun part. The body's detection of sugar, or the appearance of it, causes the release of insulin, thereby allowing the body to store more fat. The flip side of this coin explores a psychological side of the divide that still occurs as a result of the calorie-free narrative. The idea that you are not drinking any calories could help consumers find validation in an extra-calorie meal or more. Combining these extra calories with the body's release of insulin, you may just be setting yourself up for obesity. There are other studies that have shown that specific sweeteners also confuse the body's calorie counting function, hence causing excessive cravings and hunger. Looks like a serious problem hiding in plain sight, doesn't it? Well, you are not going to believe what we have in the top 3 of this video, so stick around for this. All right, from one global issue to the next, number 7 is type 2 diabetes. You would think that replacing sugar with these sweeteners would completely eliminate any tendencies of diabetes. Well, as it turns out, excessive consumption of diet soda still maintains a high risk of exposure to type 2 diabetes. Interestingly, the excess weight that could come from consistent consumption of diet sodas and their sugar replacements does not just end there. It is common to find people who consume a lot of diet soda experiencing abdominal obesity. This is fat that packs up deep inside the belly. Before any other thing, a buildup of abdominal fat exposes a person to a high risk of type 2 diabetes. Then comes the bombshell. As mentioned earlier, the consumption of the artificial sweeteners that are present in these diet sodas is bound to cause the release of insulin. Like that is not already bad news for people with diabetic tendencies, the body also struggles to fight back at this insulin. Once insulin resistance fully sets in, type 2 diabetes is not far down the road for the consumer. In summary, the case is exponentially worse if you already have diabetic history or risks. If you saw numbers 8 and 7 coming, you are surely going to be shocked by what we have in number 6. Getting into the less well-known consequences of excess diet soda consumption, number 6 is dementia and stroke. Over a period of 10 years, a group of about 4,500 adults was monitored and studied. everything from eating and drinking patterns to lifestyle choices was noted. The study was aimed at picking out those that eventually experienced stroke or dementia. Well, you do not need to guess that people who were avid consumers of these artificial sweeteners were more susceptible to stroke and dementia than those who didn't. The numbers obtained from this study state that people with at least one daily consumption of diet soda were about 3 times more likely to end up suffering from dementia or stroke, even after genetic risk, exercise patterns, gender, age, and even general calorie intake were all accounted for. Nothing changed. The challenge in this case is that scientists are still struggling to find causation. Nonetheless, some believe that there are specific forms of these artificial sweeteners that cause the results, so it may take a little more time and tests for something more conclusive to come to light. In the meantime, it is best to steer clear of these beverages and to spend more of your drinking on the one liquid with zero controversies: water. Proper hydration, specifically, is one of the many ways you can reduce your risk of suffering from dementia or stroke. Now for number 5, cardiovascular complications. Here is yet another one that is yet to get a proper cause and effect approval. Still though, like the previous reason, tests suggest there is a link between people who consume a lot of diet soda and cardiovascular issues. Right out of the bag, research shows that people who drink a lot of diet soda are 36% more likely to develop metabolic syndrome. And for context, this is a group of conditions that raise a person's risk of suffering severe repercussions like diabetes and heart attacks. It is also worth noting that most of the people who were found with cardiovascular issues belong to a group of risk factors. So, if you happen to already have issues with high blood pressure, high cholesterol levels, or excessive body fat around the waist, it is in your best interest to keep the diet sodas as far away as possible. The chemicals in these artificial sweeteners do not combine well with these pre-existing conditions and could easily escalate into more serious cardiovascular issues. If you are already a fan of diet soda because you have been told it is a healthier version of soda, it is never too late to take steps back. Number 4 is a complication that is lifestyle related, and that is liver issues. The major player when it comes to diet sodas affecting the liver is the sweetener known as aspartame. It is in fact one of the most commonly used artificial sweeteners used to replace sugar in most diet beverages. Sadly, studies have now linked it to causing a number of liver complications for consumers. Have you ever heard of fatty liver disease? People who consume diet sodas that are sweetened with aspartame face a very high risk of suffering from this disease if care isn't taken. This sweetener is one of those that readily facilitates insulin resistance and causes fatty liver disease. Another reaction to the consumption of aspartame is something called formaldehyde. Some research has shown that even the slightest consumption of aspartame could cause formaldehyde to gather in the liver. Long-term exposure to this chemical allows it to react with lipids, proteins, and others, including toxic effects in the liver. These could damage important liver cells like hepatic parenchyma and disrupt proper function. Surely you are having second thoughts about diet soda now. Well, if you are not convinced, then it is best you fasten your seatbelt for the next set of reasons. There is more on the way, and you are not going to believe what is in number 1. Setting things off in the top 3 is yet another shocking entry. In number 3, we have poor dentition. Did you know that when compared to those who use cocaine and methamphetamine, Consistent diet soda consumers have been found to suffer the same extent of erosion in their dentition? The explanation for this is a lot simpler than most of the other stuff we have mentioned so far. As a general rule, these diet sodas and their sugar-free haven are extremely acidic. This high acid content usually weakens the enamel. Weaker enamels on the teeth expose you to cavities and deep dental erosion. All right, here is one that will affect a much larger crowd. Our number 2 pick is making alcohol worse. If you drink alcohol and like to mix it with a soft drink, you may want to watch out for the kind of drink you are creating this cocktail mix with. You probably did not know this, but as a result of the 0 to no calorie content of these diet drinks, they tend to get consumers drunk faster than regular sugar-filled beverages. Since the bloodstream is capable of digesting and breaking down these artificial sweeteners a lot quicker than actual sugar, even your regular intake of alcohol could down you in a matter of minutes. This could become dangerous for people who measure their alcohol intake without considering the content of diet soda. One could get drunk without even realizing it. There is no saying how this could endanger the life of consumers. We advise that you fasten your seatbelt for our number 1 reason. It is no joke. At the very top of today's list, at number 1, is depression. As healthy as diet sodas have been advertised to be, it turns out that they could also affect the mental health of their consumers. Multiple studies have shown that people who have a heavy diet soda intake are likely to suffer from depression. It is even believed that these depressive effects are almost non-existent in people who drink the sugary variants of these beverages compared to those who take the artificial sweeteners. Scientists have narrowed down results to popular sugar replacements like aspartame and sucralose. Aspartame is really not getting a break today. Anyway, researchers believe that these may have a harmful effect on brain function and mental health. The possible explanation is that the high oxidating power of aspartame could create oxidative stress and facilitate the production of the stress hormone cortisol. In excess, this could affect neurons in the brain and start manifesting in the form of depression. In one 2014 study, a group of randomly selected healthy adults was fed a high aspartame diet. Within 8 days of the study, these participants began acting increasingly irritable and even displaying symptoms of depression. The shocker here is that despite being high, their aspartame consumption was still below the acceptable daily intake margin. What if all your mood swings and feelings of depression were just a result of your healthy sodas? Leave a comment below about symptoms you may have experienced, and we'll be right there chatting with you. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. If you would like to learn more, click the video on your screen right now, and we'll catch you there.